Welcome to the Total Soccer Show Weekender, the episode that sends you off into the weekend with some game previews, a lovely listener question, and a bit of fun with a quiz. My name's Ryan Bailey. Joining me today, hey, it's Quizmaster Extraordinaire Taylor Rockwell. Hello, Taylor.
It's me. Hello. I tried to find more like witch crest and Halloween-themed things, but could not. It's really just the one that reigns supreme.
Yeah, by the way, just to jump in here, not our finest moment when I reflected on how, Taylor, you gave us the clues of it's Halloween related and it's something riding on something else, and none of us got a witch riding on a broom. I said Dracula riding on an e-scooter.
You did.
Which, yeah.
I mean, you were close, Graham. To your credit,
Yeah.
you were right on it. I mean, right on it.
Rumpelstiltskin on Peppa Pig was my best
that was
guess.
close to be fair.
Yeah.
That's just one of your Google searches.
Well,
This
good
was
news-
pointed out in the YouTube comments, was how did none of these three guys get Taylor's clue about this badge?
Yeah,
So
that's
I
right.
apologize.
I was equally confused. You all are occasionally lights out at trivia where I think I've got the hardest one ever, and then you all get it immediately, and then there's ones that I think are going to be way too easy to start.
Yeah,
and
lights out in another way.
Yeah, exactly.
No one's hope.
Right, Tom. Well, the good news, Taylor, if you don't have enough Halloween-themed questions for this weekender, next weekender is literally Halloween, so we can lean into it a little more then.
No, I follow the Lowe's protocol of by then it will be Christmas themed. Yeah. Who needs
Smart.
Halloween decorations 3 weeks before Halloween? It's time
Keep
for
up.
Christmas. We all
Keep
know
up.
that.
You should have
Yeah.
been prepared. You missed your window.
Right.
All right.
Just
Joe,
that way.
how are you? Do you have your Halloween decorations up?
Oh, always. Huge decorator. I spend so much time decorating.
Huge
Always.
decorator.
I don't. I don't do any of that. But I'm not opposed to it. I just don't. You know.
I would have thought you were. I'll be
Really?
honest. I would have thought you would have been like a well done homemade
Oh,
Halloween
absolutely
decorations
not.
kind of guy. Although I
Nope.
believe we had the conversation about you having a pumpkin and having to carve it or not having a pumpkin.
I am
So
truly
should've
dreadful at
remembered that.
anything artistic or design related. Decorations feel like it falls too much into that category. I'm thankful my wife does a lovely job. She can carve a mean pumpkin. She can paint a mean pumpkin. I can do nothing, basically.
Wow.
I think that's where we've landed.
A lot of mean pumpkins in Arizona, I'm hearing.
Yeah.
That
Yeah, they're
sounds
angry.
Good, though. Very good. Graham Ruthven, hello, how are you?
I'm very well. Ryan Bailey, my wife and daughter, Lucy and Sophie, are away pumpkin picking right now as we record. So I am thankful that I've got this podcast to record, because that doesn't sound like my sort of thing.
Having to do something with your family,
I know.
it sounds awful.
On
Ugh.
Exactly.
brand.
How many pumpkin patches are there in Glasgow, Scotland, by
Just
the way?
one.
This one, yeah. And yeah, there's a big queue. There's the whole country queues up to pick their pumpkin,
There's just
apart from me.
there's just a vat of oil next to it, or they fry it afterwards.
Joe, can you see that? That's one of my crowning achievements in holiday decoration.
I'm so proud of you, Taylor.
Thank you.
As are the
Fair
listeners.
Yeah.
It's a pumpkin that says Happy Halloween that I then crossed out to write Thanksgiving when it was time for Thanksgiving because the pumpkin made it that long.
Bravo.
Excellent. Very good. Inadvertent reminder that we are on YouTube. Thank you, Taylor. Like and subscribe. Link in show notes. And also, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/Total Soccer Show. Bonus episodes, bonus video, and access to our Discord server where all the cool kids are hanging out. Patreon.com/Total Soccer Show. The best way to support this endeavor. Thank you very much to everybody who does so. Let's kick off the weekender with some game previews. Graham, I would suppose there's a few big games this weekend. We're going to talk about at least a couple of them. But Liverpool Man United's happening on Sunday. Let's hear about that.
Yeah, so I've picked some hipster games over the last few weeks for this segment, but I'm going to play it straight down the middle today and say that Liverpool-Manchester United is the game that I'll be paying most attention to this weekend. 10:30 Eastern on Sunday. Obviously, this is a big game no matter the context. It's arguably the biggest rivalry in English soccer. You've got all the history behind it, with these two teams being the two most successful clubs in the country, the fact there's only 28 miles between Anfield and Old Trafford as well. But I find the context of this particular match interesting because Liverpool were struggling before the international break. We covered it at length in a number of episodes. They lost to Palace, then they lost to Galatasaray, then they lost to Chelsea. It is not out of the question that Liverpool could lose any of those games. You know, Palace are a strong team, Chelsea are a strong team, Galatasaray have quality. But the interesting thing is we're seeing the same trend in each of those performances, the same issues that teams are managing to expose. And obviously Manchester United have had their own struggles. We've also covered that at length this season. But there was a slight uptick in a couple matches before the international break. And if, and it's a big if, Ruben Amorim leans into playing in attacking transition and Manchester United are decent in their execution and they're compact enough and organised enough in defence, there is a world where I believe they could trouble Liverpool on Sunday. And we've got, well, Taylor, you laugh as the Manchester United fan in the room.
I'm laughing just with all of that build-up to, like, they might be able to possibly cause some level of difficulty for Liverpool. Exactly. That's
the bar for this Manchester United team. But we've got evidence for this already happening this year. Manchester United drew 2-2 at Anfield earlier in the year. I think that might have been like February. And they played on the break, and they had runners from deep, and they attacked open space, and they didn't have a lot of the ball, and they sat deep. And I remember Ruben Amorim, after this really quite impressive result away to Liverpool at Anfield, who were obviously going to be the champions, and Amorim being like apologetic and saying like, we won't always play this way. Well, we're like 9 months down the line, and I think he might play that way again this weekend. And Liverpool, they have some injuries. Alisson won't play. Gravenberch and Konate, I think, have been carrying knocks. There's question marks over them as well. I'm trying to build the case that this will be competitive. And even if it's not, if Liverpool blow away Manchester United, which very well could happen, I think that will be interesting to see them use this game as a catalyst, and we can maybe draw the conclusion that they will be title challengers this season, that everything's going to be okay for them. So I think either way, no matter what happens, it's going to be an interesting game, and I'm sure we'll talk about it all on Weekend Review.
Yeah. Yeah, very good stuff. I back the tie in that one, by the way. I think it will be competitive. We shall see. Taylor, we also have Der Klassiker. Bayern Munich and Borussia Dortmund clashing this Saturday lunchtime, 12:30 Eastern. Tell us about it.
Will it go the way these games always seem to go? Probably, but maybe not. And that's why I'm excited to watch. We have Bayern Munich very much top of the table, 6 wins in 6 games, 25 goals for and 3 against is quite the margin they've got going on. Dortmund, for their part, have only conceded the 4, so that's pretty good. They've also only scored the 12, so that's less good than Bayern's tally thus far. But I think it is sort of like, from the opening weekend, and I don't say this as like shade or criticism, I feel like you, Ryan, and you, Graham, were both sort of like, well, that's the Bundesliga done. And there was some frustration with that in the Discord, and I think on YouTube. Thus far, you all have not been proven incorrect. And if Dortmund want to, like, not even stake a title claim, but stake a claim that they are back and that they are a functional team. They are maybe the second most functional team in the Bundesliga right now. A result against Bayern or looking competent against Bayern is a good way to accomplish that. It feels a little bit like the Liverpool-Man United game from the perspective of, I think Bayern and Liverpool, for different reasons, have points to prove. And I think the pressure is kind of off. I mean, very much still on Dortmund and Manchester United, but there is much less expectation for the two of them. So for me in this game, if Dortmund put in a strong performance and get an uninspiring draw, that then becomes inspiring because they are able to pull points off of this Bayern Munich team, even if they are weakened with some injuries.
Okay, very good. Are we expecting a lot of goals in this one then, I'm presuming?
A lot of Bayern goals, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest, like, I would love to build the narrative that, like, Dortmund are actually going to spring a surprise. They're more than capable of that. They haven't lost in the Bundesliga this season. They've got the 2 draws. It's just that the precedent seems to be the case, that when Dortmund do start to put things together, when Bayern do seem like they are there for the taking, Dortmund find a way to lose and find a way to not see out the victory or to give up a penalty or concede a cheap goal or miss clear-cut opportunities. And that has happened so consistently that if it doesn't happen this weekend, that is a major talking point and an interesting thing to spend some time trying to figure out why. But I'm not going to hype it all up as though that is a realistic possibility or a very likely possibility for it to then finish 4-2 Bayern.
Yeah, it's not as if I think Dortmund are a bad team. Far from it. I think they're quite a good team. And even going back to last season, since Kovac has come in, there's been a pretty big upswing in their form. So they've got something behind them at this point. They've got momentum. I just think Bayern, one of the reasons I was so dismissive so early in the season about anyone else's chances is I think Bayern have taken a step up this season by adding Luis Diaz. Like, their attack is absolutely frightening, and so it would take a whole range of injuries, a whole host of injuries, I think, for anyone to get close to them in the Bundesliga this season. And look, in a one-off game, maybe Dortmund spring a surprise, but the broad picture here is I think Bayern are going to stroll the Bundesliga, and we might see that this weekend.
All right. Hey, Joe, MLS Decision Day on Saturday. Lots of games to look for in both conferences. Where will your eye be?
I think the real intrigue on Decision Day mostly lies in the West. So there are things up for grabs in both conferences. The East has some wild card shuffling that can happen. There's a number of a number of teams that could still land in the wild card places: Chicago, Columbus, Orlando, and Nashville. 2 of those 4 are going to end up there, but we don't know which 2. And then there is in the East room for some seeding changes higher up the table, where you have Charlotte and NYCFC and Nashville as well fighting for that final top 4 spot. Ryan is hoping for a Charlotte win there. I think, though, the real intrigue is in the West, because there's a couple of things that are still up for grabs. One is the top spot in the West, which gives you home field advantage all the way through to the Western Conference Final at a minimum. That is Vancouver and San Diego, who are fighting for that. Vancouver have a 3-point advantage. And then the biggest thing that's being fought for on Decision Day, very clearly, is who's going to actually make the playoffs in the Western Conference. So right now, there are 4 teams fighting for the final 2 playoff spots in the West, both of the wildcard spots. Dallas and RSL are currently the 2 teams above the playoff line, but Colorado and San Jose are both still potentially in the playoffs if things go their way this weekend. The game, then, that I'm watching most intently this time around, and you've got basically all of the Eastern Conference games kicking off at 6 p.m. Eastern, and then all the Westerns at 9 p.m. Eastern. So really, I'm going to be paying attention across the board. But the 9 p.m. game slot, the one to watch is Dallas against Vancouver. So this game is in Vancouver because you have 2 things to play for at each end of the playoff field. You have Vancouver in that top spot. All they need is a result. They don't even technically need that. If San Diego don't win or don't pick up anything, they could get by even without a win. But if Vancouver pick up at least a point, they have locked up the top spot in the West, and their very, very impressive season looks even better. And then Dallas, they can win and get in. So they control their own destiny. If they pick up 3 points on the road in Vancouver, they are absolutely in the playoffs. So they control their own destiny in a way that these other teams do not. That is a really good sign for FC Dallas. The bad sign for them is that Petar Musa and Logan Farrington, their 2 best attacking players, are both suspended due to card accumulation or due to cards. So that's bad news for FC Dallas. Now, what that means is we get to do the full "that guy still plays" thing for USMNT players this weekend with FC Dallas. Taylor Christian Kappas plays for FC Dallas, in case you forgot. Shaq Moore still plays for FC Dallas. Bernard Kamungo, remember he was in that January camp that one time? That was fun. And Paxton Pomykal. All guys who very much could see some action.
Paxton.
Yeah, see? I knew that would get somebody.
I liked him for a while.
Yeah, Paxton Pomykal versus France at the U20 World Cup. Good times. This is going to have to be a scrappy performance from Dallas, which is a good thing for them because that's all they've done since Lucho Acosta left. They've lost 1 game since Lucho Acosta left. They have been incredible since he's gone. It is unfortunate that they had I think, frankly, wrong, maybe suspensions that they did in the last game, that first loss against the Galaxy. But they've got a shot. So I'm watching this game, Vancouver-Dallas, 9 p.m. Eastern on Saturday. I think it has more ramifications on Decision Day than anything else.
Excellent stuff. Thank you very much, Joe. I'll round out the previews with the game I am picking. I am heading to my favourite World Stadium with a giant Mussolini tribute statue outside, the Stadio Olimpico, where Roma will be hosting Inter at Saturday at 2:45 Eastern. You'll catch that on Paramount. Plus, 2 American-owned teams, of course, as many Serie A teams are American-owned these days. American-owned Roma, specifically, are flying high. Gianpiero Gasparini's team doing very well. They're second in the table, only off the top by goal difference, by virtue of goal difference. 5 wins and a draw at the moment. 7 goals scored in their last 5 games, too. They've got the stingiest defence in Serie A, have Roma at the moment. 2 goals conceded. So they are strong at both ends of the field, it's safe to say, at this early stage of the season. They're fun to watch, playing with a high defensive line as well. Gasp seems to be the coach that Roma needed. He seems to, of all the sort of coaches that changed hands this close season, I feel like Roma got the best deal, arguably, with Gasparini arriving there. And the fruit is bearing there so far. Matteo Sully's doing very well since his transfer last year from Juventus. 3 goals this season. Leon Bailey should be making a return for Roma in this one as well. Maybe even a little bit of Paulo Dybala if he's fit for this one too. Inter, obviously the opponents here, last season's champions, humbled rather badly in the Champions League final. Still reeling from that one, I imagine. They're in 4th. They did lose 2 of their first 3 games, including that epic to Juventus, the 4-3 loss to them. But they're over that awkward start, it's safe to say. They've won their last few outings. This is a big couple of weeks for Inter and a sort of an early test for Christian Kivu. Roma this weekend, at Napoli next weekend as well. So we'll see what this team is made of, I think, in the next couple of games. Inter might be without Marcus Thuram, Inter, in this one. He's got a hamstring issue that he's had over the international break. Matteo Darmian also out for them. But I think most of the other Inter stars will be available. Francesco Totti had a good quote about this game earlier this week. "This is one of those games where you don't need a shirt and tie, but a helmet." Inter are probably the most elegant team in Serie A, but this will be a battle. And if Totti says it's going to be a battle, it's going to be a battle. Both teams in good form, both teams with a point to prove, both scoring freely. So get ready for the 0-0 at the Stadio Olimpico this weekend.
What game do you need a shirt and tie for? That's my question.
That's a good question. Well, if you are in Cultural Leonese's
Yeah,
third
there we
kit,
go.
which will be
That's it.
upcoming in a future episode of Listener Questions, then you need
Good
formal
point.
wear for that.
Good point. Yeah, I'm going to. I will not be wearing a shirt and tie to watch this game, or a helmet, frankly, either. But I am going to make a point of watching this game because I know Roma are going well under Gasperini. Their games have just kind of like fallen through the cracks for me. I don't think I've watched them live this year, even though I was excited coming to the season to see them under Gasperini. So I think this weekend is the time when I'm going to sit down and watch one of their games in full. So I'm looking forward to it.
This is a good chance to do so. Taylor.
Do you think soccer players always wear the same sized shin pads? Or do you think, like, to Totti's point, if you need a helmet, are you maybe like, oh, it's Inter? All right, give me, like, those slightly larger ones that actually cover my shins.
Bring me my formal shin pads.
Actually,
Right?
get me a rolled up newspaper.
I've done
Stuff
that.
them down there.
I've done that.
Stuff
Piece
it where?
cardboard. Sometimes you got to make do, man.
Very good. Well, neither of these teams has tied this season, so as I say, I would expect a 0-0. Graham.
Just very quickly before we move on from this segment, I have to give a quick mention. I've been meaning to do this for the last couple of weeks. I have to give a quick mention to my boys, Mjällby, who can win the Swedish title this weekend. This is an incredible story.
Your
where
boys?
Mjällby,
Graham's boys.
Yeah, I've adopted them, all of them. The whole town, actually. I probably could because there's only 800 people that live in this village, this tiny little fishing village that has that this club comes from. And this club, they have spent a lot of time in the Swedish lower leagues, but they need just one more win to win the top flight title for the first time in their history. They don't have any wealthy backers. They're not part of like a multi-club ownership group. They've barely spent any money. I think this is the best underdog story in European soccer for years and years, maybe even since like Leicester City. It is on that scale. And so what needs to happen this weekend, if Hammarby drop points to Malmo on Saturday, then it'll be done. Mjällby will be champions. If Hammarby win, then Mjällby can win it against Gothenburg on Monday. They are so close to getting this done, and I hope they do.
There we go. We do have a Hamburg fan in our Discord, don't we?
We do.
Yeah. So all eyes on that one. I'm sure, listener, you can watch that on FIFA Plus along with Graham this weekend. Let's take a break. Thank you very much. When we come back, we've got an excellent listener question about the most important people in soccer that we've never heard of. Join us then. Total Soccer Show, welcome back to the weekend. Well, if it isn't another question from the city of Nashville itself, a.k.a. Keaton, in our Discord. Great question here. Who are some of the most important people in the soccer world that we may never have heard of, like powerful agents or chief soccer officers, etc., and so on? Joe, I'm assuming the answer to this question of people who sort of pull the strings we may never have heard of, it's going to be agents, it's going to be maybe hedge fund managers, maybe Saudi princes. Ugh.
Yes, all of those things, many more of those things. U.S. Soccer has continued to do more and more work with finding external cash. If we're talking about people that have provided a lot of money to U.S. Soccer, these are some names that people maybe would have heard of. But I think about Arthur Blank and I think about Michelle Kang, who have both helped finance a lot of U.S. Soccer's ventures forward. When you think about the training center, a lot of that comes down to Arthur Blank. It's in Atlanta. There's no coincidence there. He's donated a lot of money to make that happen. I think about Michelle Kang and donating a lot of money to U.S. Soccer on the women's side of things. Again, these are probably more notable names than not, I suppose, but also my head's in this stuff all the time. So maybe to me they seem more notable. Another name on that front, Ryan, when you're talking about hedge fund managers, billionaire Ken Griffin, who contributed quite a bit of cash to help make the Mauricio Pochettino hire possible. These are the things that happen behind the scenes at U.S. Soccer, and it's to their credit, frankly, I think, U.S. Soccer, that they are going out and trying to secure this sort of investment. This level of ambition was not a part of U.S. Soccer previously, and so that is sort of a new era under new leadership there with Cindy Parlow-Cohen and JT Batson, president and CEO of U.S. Soccer, respectively. So there's a lot of names just at U.S. Soccer. I will stick in American soccer, and I know that Nashville's asking about MLS CSOs there, it certainly seems like. Most of those names you can find pretty easily, and I think get a decent amount of coverage, at least in their local markets. We talk about a lot of those folks from time to time. But two names at the MLS level, like the league level, that feel particularly notable, that never get mentioned. I don't even know if anybody except Paul Tenorio and Sam Stejskal have ever said their names in the Total Soccer Show feed. Todd Durbin is the only MLS employee to have worked at the league for each of its 30 seasons. He is the leader of the MLS's Sporting and Competition Committee. And what that means is that he has been, according to Don Garber, this is a direct quote from, I think, a Sportico article, he's been the driving force behind what our league looks like on the field. Our roster rules, our overall competition dynamic, our youth development strategy, et cetera, et cetera. Todd Durbin has like architected a lot of the MLS roster rules. So if you have complaints about them, you can start there. But Todd Durbin has had a massive impact, maybe more than anybody else who doesn't own a soccer team, as to what MLS actually looks like. He was a USC grad and met Sunil Gulati back in the 90s and parlayed that into an internship at MLS and just never left. That's one name. And the other one, and then I'll shut up. Charles Olczyk is one other name. He has been recently named the executive vice president of MLS's Club Performance and League Growth Group. I think that's pretty self-explanatory that he's going to work very closely with the clubs and try to grow both their business metrics, but also elevate MLS as a whole. He is the former president of MLS Next Pro, and I've talked with Charles. He's a pretty dynamic guy. He has been touted as potentially when Don Garber hangs up his whatever pen he probably signs off on big important deals with. I think that's what you hang up when you retire from the commissionership. Whenever he hangs that up, it is not impossible that Charles Olczyk will be the one to replace Don Garber. So I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but people smarter than I and better connected than I have suggested that, which makes me think that other people are suggesting that as well.
Wow. Those are great picks. Thank you very much, John. Just Googling who else billionaire Ken Griffin has donated to. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Just U.S. soccer? Oh, just U.S. soccer.
That. Yep. Let's just say it's that. Taylor, what you got?
Similar to Joe, I feel like there's a lot of names out there that might be like more common than others. So if you're looking at agents, like Jorge Mendes, I'm assuming a lot of people have heard that name before. So I tried to go with maybe some that people might be less familiar with. One in particular on the agency side would be Rafaela Pimenta, someone I didn't know anything about until researching this question, if I'm being totally honest. She's a 52-year-old Brazilian former lawyer. She is now a super agent, basically because she took over Mino Raiola's entire client list. And it's interesting that I feel like Mino Raiola was in the news whenever one of his clients was in the news. Like whenever there was a new deal, whenever there's a new contract or a transfer happening, it felt like he was front and center of that story. Pimenta seems to very much prefer an under-the-radar approach. So she's now representing Erling Haaland, Santiago Jimenez, still Paul Pogba, to name just a few. Another agent that I was less familiar with, and he seems to be less of an agent and more of a football fixer, which is immediately an intriguing thing to discuss, is Giovanni Branchini. He was originally the agent for players like Romario and the original Ronaldo. Seems like he has kind of moved, as I said, into more of like an advisory consultant fixer role. And two anecdotes I saw about him. One is that he, according to the people involved in this story, he is the one who told Sir Alex Ferguson that Cristiano Ronaldo would be a worthy successor to David Beckham before Manchester United had, I think, signed Beckham. And similarly, he advised Jorge Mendes, who was then Ronaldo's agent and still is, to essentially steer his client to Manchester United because there was more of an avenue for development there. So he seems to, and like, again, all parties involved in that have said, like, yep, he was pretty instrumental in making that happen. And then he's the one who was sent to New York, basically with Bayern's blessing, to meet with Pep Guardiola when he was on his sabbatical and convince him to go meet with Uli Hoeneß and Karl-Heinz Rummenigge to understand their plan for how to make Bayern and to make Pep part of Bayern. And that is exactly how that played out. So he has a lot of agent connections. I think he is still an agent, but with a much smaller kind of less dollar sign behind it client list, but still has a lot of involvement. And then one more name that I thought would at the very least make Joe happy is Ian Graham, former head of research for Liverpool between 2012 and 2023. He built the first in-house analytics department in the Premier League, and a lot of that goes towards scouting and talent development. He is allegedly quite key in the signings of Mohamed Salah and Andy Robertson, getting them in, Robertson especially for a decent fee that then kind of proves itself over and over again. But Graham has a PhD in physics and leads the data revolution in England, but is also not a name that I think most people will know.
Yeah.
When did he come from Southampton? Was it?
He was holding Ricky Lambert's hand. He was the.
I think he's actually
the courier.
A Tottenham guy. I think he started at Tottenham. I might be wrong on that. I think he had like an internship there at some point.
So Ian Graham, haven't read this book. It is on. I don't get time to read a lot of books, but when I do, I'm going to read.
Your car and caring about Swedish football.
Ian Graham wrote a book called How to Win the Premier League. I think it came out either last year or the year before, and by all accounts, it's excellent. It's about that methodology that he used at Liverpool and what.
Does he reveal how to do it? And
just be owned by an oil-rich state and have
spend
your
an absurd amount of
coach.
money.
Yeah.
Step 2,
That's it.
Read the rest of the book.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. I don't need to read it. That's basically the audiobook right there.
Very good. Anyone else, Graham, you want to highlight?
Yeah, a few. I'm going to start off with someone who listeners, hear me out on this one, listeners will almost certainly have heard of, but I don't think they maybe realise, or maybe most of them realise, the level of influence that he has. So Nasser Al-Khelaifi, I think right now is in the top 3 most powerful people in soccer at this moment in time. He is, of course, the PSG chairman, so listeners will be familiar with him in that role. But on top of that, he is the chairman of the European Club Association, and he took over from Andrea Agnelli after the Super League debacle, and he is forced out of the ACA. And Khalifi was one of the biggest winners of that whole thing because he used it to get closer to UEFA, while also becoming the new figurehead of the ACA. He is also close to FIFA. He was part of the Club World Cup organising committee. I think it's a sure bet that he's going to be have an important role for the World Cup next year as well. So yeah, I don't know how many people know just how influential he is across all spheres. I don't think there's anyone right now that kind of is in the centre of the Venn diagram in the way that he is. Some other names that I think are worth mentioning within UEFA itself, you have Andrea Traverso, whose official title is Director of Financial Sustainability and Research. He is basically the guy who is in charge of FFP and all that entails and handing out punishments. Then at FIFA you have Emilio Garcia Silvero, who oversees disciplinary, regulatory and legal rulings according to FIFA's website. So basically if there's any sanctions handed out or like doping investigations or match fixing investigations, anything like that, he is the guy who heads that stuff up and decides which direction they investigate in. And then finally, someone outside of the authorities, someone that I am sure listeners will have heard of, Stephen Ross, the owner of the Miami Dolphins. He is also head of Relevant Sports, who we've discussed quite a bit about in the last week or so. They have the commercial rights for La Liga, the Champions League, various other competitions, and they are leading this charge to play domestic games abroad. They're going to reshape the Champions League. They're in charge of the new TV deal as well, which is going to be, by all accounts, a mega global deal that's going to be in one of the streamers. That's been reported in the last week or so. So yeah, I think Stephen Ross deserves a mention.
Very good. Thank you, Graham. There's one name I thought you would add to your list. I'm disappointed you didn't. Rob Revell. R-E-V-E-L-L. Do you know who he is, Graham?
I don't know if I do know who that is. Remind me?
He's the head of design at Hummel, who is responsible for most of their kit designs of the last decade. I thought he'd be number 1 on your list.
Maybe should have been. I should get close to Rob.
You should indeed. There's an article in it for you there somewhere. Graham, let's take a quick break. When we come back, hey, quiz time. Join us then. Total Soccer Show, welcome back to the Weekender. We hand the reins now to Quizmaster Extraordinaire Taylor Rockwell, who's going to quiz us. Here we go, Taylor.
All right. I'm excited. I've made this appropriately weekend themed, and then near the end, just kind of gave up on that entirely. We'll see how it goes. DC United and Atlanta United will battle it out for the last place trophy this weekend, affectionately known as, Joe?
The wooden spoon?
Thank you.
1 point.
I was curious about the origins of that award. Has anyone ever looked into the origins of the wooden spoon?
MLS specifically, or just in general?
In
like
general.
that term? No, the answer's no to either, so I don't know why I asked.
I bet it's medieval.
It dates back to the 1800s, in which students at Cambridge University would be ranked after taking an exam. The lowest ranked student who still passed was awarded a wooden spoon, oftentimes a decorative ceremonial spoon that could be up to 5 feet large, I believe. What type of exam were those students taking?
Oh, wow.
I want to be clear. No spoon has to be decorative. Like, I don't care how long the spoon is. That thing can still be put to good use.
if it's
So don't
5 foot,
let
it's
people tell you otherwise.
It's an oar at that point, isn't it?
It is, but you know what?
But
You
it's
can
used?
still slurp
Cambridge, there
soup
we
with
go.
an oar.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
All right,
Oh,
so-
good.
1800s, students at Cambridge, they're taking an exam, ranked exam. The student who finished with the worst score but still passed was given a wooden spoon. What type of exam were they taking? Ryan Bailey.
They were doing a physical. It was a sack race.
Sack race, says Ryan. Graham?
Something rowing. Am I
Graham
allowed
says
that?
rowing,
Punting
which is
is
why they
probably what you
needed
want
the
there.
giant spoon. There you go, to be the oar. Joe?
Botany.
Wow. Okay, see, this is one of those, might be the Witchcrest one, where I assumed we were going to get off to a fast start.
Oh, no.
Mathematics.
Oh,
Pretty
that's
straightforward.
way
I
too
wouldn't mess with y'all
That's
that
boring.
much. All right. Let's see if you enjoy this one more. Roma.
I meant the answer, not the question. The question
Will
was
host.
great.
You're done. Yeah, negative 1 point to you. Roma will host Inter Milan on Saturday afternoon, as Ryan has mentioned. They've played each other around 180 times in all competitions. Which thing has happened more? Roma has won that game, or Francesco Totti played in that game? So, put more simply, what is the higher number? The number of Roma wins against Inter Milan, or the number of games played by Totti against Inter Milan?
Wow. Oh, that's good.
I'll tell you this right now.
That's really good.
It's very close.
Totti.
Graham, you want to talk it out? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think when Totti's career would be, because obviously he retires very, very late. So
He's omnipresent. He's been there since the beginning. Like,
yeah,
How
so
many
he's
how
a
many
one-man
seasons did Totti play, Graham? Like 20?
Say that again. Yeah, it's got to be. I'd say over 20. Like surely he breaks through as a youngster and he retires like late 30s. So
like
yeah,
23?
like 20. Yeah, I'd say about 20, which is 2 games a season. 40. Do I think Roma? Let's chuck in like 10 cup games as well. So 50. Do I think Roma have won 50? I'll say no. I'll say Totti played in more games.
Same. I think Graham's spot on. I think Roma probably has won slightly less than 1/3 of these games. That's what I'm thinking. And I bet Totti is like right at that 60 mark. So I'm going to say Totti.
Yeah. I reckon Totti started when he was 16. I reckon he played till about 39.
is that what Google told you?
No. I think that's
Francesco
from-
Totti is an Italian icon who played for AS Roma.
I'm just going to give
AI
you my
summary.
opinion on him.
GP Totti.
I reckon it was. I think he was 16. I think he would have played more than 20 seasons. I am going with Totti.
You're all wrong. It's Roma. Wins. They're not that bad. However, the best math I could come up with, combined with cross-checking it with ChatGPT, I'm not going to lie. Roma has either won 49 or 50 of those 180 times they've played. Graham, you were so close. Totti has played 48 times in Inter.
I said
So
50.
it's either 1 or 2 more Roma wins than Totti appearances against Inter Milan.
That is-
man.
That is an exquisite question, Taylor. That is
Now-
an all-time great question.
Yeah, that's good.
The other thing I toyed with, and I was wondering if you all would have caught, is if I had at the last minute switched it and made it Inter Miami, if you all would have noticed that, or if you all would have let it slide. But I didn't want to trick you fully, so instead we went the route we went. All right, let's go with another one that's been mentioned on this show. So no points so far. Off to a great start this quiz. Whoop. Also on Saturday afternoon, Bayern host Dortmund. We talked about that. 18 players have played for both clubs in terms of all time. That includes Robert Lewandowski, Mats Hummels, Mario Götze, and which defender who will most likely be on the bench for one of these teams this weekend. Yeah.
Wow.
So he still plays, has played for both. Would you like a slight hint?
No, it's fine. It's okay.
Okay,
Oh,
Graham
so
says
Graham
no,
knows
which
who
means
it
Graham
is.
knows it. Joe, coming to you first for this one.
I think I know it. I'm always afraid of feeling very silly after putting myself out there in a situation like this. I was afraid, Taylor, you were about to ask us to just rattle through all the 18 players
Yeah,
until we
that
ran
was my
out.
fear as
And
well.
I was typing furiously as many as I could think of. I'm going to go with Rafael Guerrero. Yeah. That has to be it. Like, it has to be. One of my favorite Dortmund players ever, by the way. But I think Rafael Guerrero is the answer.
So I'm going to be honest. That was not the answer I had. But you
That
are
is the
correct
answer.
that is the answer. So, Joe,
Yes.
I'm going to give you a point. But, Joe, I'm going to give you an opportunity to say the other player I was thinking of at the same time.
Oh, no.
So, Joe gets a point.
Oh, that was going to be my answer as well.
sure.
Am I?
Taylor,
Yeah.
Taylor, on the bench for which team?
That's too much information.
No, did you just say on the bench? My mistake.
He
I thought you
made
mentioned
over 100 appearances for Bayern and so far has made 67 appearances for Dortmund.
Oh, I'm such a fool. I don't know.
All right. But Joe gets a point. I'll be on. Be good faith. Were you all going to both say Rafael Guerrero? It feels like Graham was. Ryan?
Yeah, that was the one, but I think I might have the other one.
Ryan.
I didn't
Were you
know,
gonna say-
but yes. No, I'll be honest. I
Wow.
didn't know. I didn't know.
Okay. All right.
So I've
We're
got
on
a
honor
point for-
system here.
So I've got Guerrero. If I get the other one, do I get another point?
Sure.
2 points.
Is it the wardrobe himself, Nicolas Sula?
No, that's what I was thinking. There's no way he played that much for Bayern.
That's what Wikipedia tells me. Nicholas Sula
yeah.
is the other correct answer.
Oh, I had it.
Nicely
What a
done.
silly goose.
Wow.
Good job.
All
Graham.
right. Wow. Forgot about Rafael Guerrero. One never should. That's what happens when you forget about him. He scores goals and makes you look like
Yes,
a
he
fool.
does.
We've got the big one on Sunday. Liverpool, Manchester United clashing in a game that has not always been peaceful. Here's your fourth question. In the Premier League era, there have been 18 red cards when the two clubs have met. What percentage of those cards were given to Nemanja Vidic? The closest without going over gets the point. And I will tell you right now, if you had gotten just the one card, that would be 5.5%.
Okay.
To obviously 11%. You go from there.
My favourite ever red card in that game is, do you remember the Steven Gerrard one, Taylor? It was the...
Where he's on for 12 seconds.
Yeah,
or
the
whatever?
football
Yeah.
epitome of the Abe Simpson, the Grandpa Simpson walk in, walk out meme, where he came on at halftime and was on for 30 seconds and got sent off immediately.
Not surprisingly, I really enjoyed that performance.
Yeah.
Yes. All right.
So
I think
Vidic
he only has 2, by the way. I was surprised by how few some players had.
So you were saying that one red card is 5.5%. That's
Yes.
where we're at, right? Okay. So I will say 16.5%.
I'll say that as well.
All right. Do we all want to go 16.5%?
No, you can all say the same.
No.
All right. I think it was Ryan was supposed to go first that time, but Graham has gone first. Graham, nicely done. Way to jump in. Ryan, we'll go to you, though, for this one.
I guess I'll go 22%. Is that another 5.5?
It is?
Yeah,
Joe?
22 then.
I'm going to go 16.6%.
Ryan gets the point. It's 22%. 4 red cards to Nemanja Vidic.
That's a lot.
That is a
That is a
lot.
lot.
Far and away the most. All right. Now a question that is going to take a long time, but I'm really excited about. So I was looking up Dutch clubs, and I wanted to do one involving
As one does.
mythology because there are, lots of Greek influences with clubs. And so I started going down the naming route. Here we go. NAC Breda are just above the relegation zone, and they play Pax Volley this weekend, who are just below them in the table. That's making it timely for this weekend. Now it qualifies. A bit of history about NAC Breda. They were founded in 1912 when 2 clubs merged. Those 2 clubs seem to have had philosophical statements for names, which I will explain at the end of this, as opposed to standard names. Those were shortened into acronyms, so that when NAC Breda was formed in those 2 clubs, it itself is an acronym of those acronyms.
What?
So if you were to say NAC Breda's full name, all set out, how many words would you have to say? That is the question. How many words would you have to say the actual full name of NAC Breda?
So just to get my head around this, you're
Yes.
saying that the 2 clubs that merged to form NAC Breda also had names that were acronyms like NAC Breda. But then when they
Except that we're not acronyms for anything that I have ever heard as a sporting name.
Okay, so but they're
Yes,
acronyms,
yes,
the weird
yes.
acronyms, but
Yes.
acronyms nonetheless. And so NAC is an acronym of the acronym. So if we were to extrapolate it out
Yes.
between the 2 formation clubs,
Yes.
how many words is that? That's the
Just
question.
You got it.
NAC,
Okay.
though, not Breda.
No, the whole thing. The whole thing.
The whole thing. Okay.
I'll say 8 words.
All right. Graham says 8. Joseph.
Is this closest without going over?
We'll just do closest.
Okay. I'll say 10. There's 8 letters in NAC Breda total. I think there's like 2 little Greek words in there that aren't big enough words to make the acronym cut. Like you drop some of those along the way. Like you don't capitalize and in a title. I think there's extra letters in there.
So
I'm gonna say
Joe
10.
says 10. I will say Breda is a place.
Yeah,
So it's really-
I thought it was just NAC.
Doesn't matter.
was
It
the
is.
acronym.
It is. Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
All right. Joe says 10. Ryan.
I've got to go 9 or 11, haven't I? I'm going to say 11.
Ryan gets the point.
No way.
12. Okay, here we go. The N and the A, it's a fusion of the 2 abbreviations. So NOAD is a Dutch abbreviation for, oh boy, Nooit opgeven, altyd doorzetten, which translates to never give up, always persevere. And then Advendo is a Dutch abbreviation for aangenaam door vermaak en nuttig door uitspanning, which translates to pleasant for its entertainment and useful for its relaxation. And then the C stands for combination or combinatie. So you've got the 3 words from the first one, or excuse me, the 4 words from the first one, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 from the second, then combination, and then Breda. So 12 or 13 even, I believe. Either way,
Wow.
Ryan gets the point.
Can I?
Taylor,
Oh, go Graham.
I was going to say, Taylor, can you read out the second club name again? That's my favourite one, the one that had relaxation in it. Have you got that
Pleasant
in front
for
of
its entertainment and useful for its relaxation.
FC.
FC.
you? Wow.
I've had some times like that in Holland, to be fair.
Yeah.
1,
Can
2,
I-
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. It's 13 total. My
Well
mistake.
done. I'm only sitting on 1 point, and it seems to me that my chances of winning are decreasing rapidly.
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
Can I auction off my 1 point to one of these guys if they can guess this new impromptu trivia question that I've just made up? Taylor, is this allowed?
Hijacking.
Oh, it's a quiz hijack.
I mean, you've still got 3 questions, Joe, and I feel like
Okay.
at least one you can pull a point back for.
All right, fine. Then instead of doing that, I'll just say I can think of one USMNT player who played for NAC Breda, the Pleasant Relaxation and Entertainment Club FC. Can anyone else think of that player? I know for a fact. Taylor, can you think of that player?
No.
Kobe Jones. Don't know.
It's gotta
Another
be from
player
while
with a
ago,
common
right?
acronym as a name. It's not CCV, it is EPB. Classic.
Oh,
Classic classic
Palmer
Eric
Brown.
Palmer Brown moment. And he probably didn't even know he was playing at Relaxation FC. Makes me sad.
Yeah.
There is a
Sad as well.
0% chance he knew that full name.
All right.
Because why would you? Okay. It's Club Crest trivia time.
Which-
And it's a random things edition of that. I'm excited. The badge of Czech club Bohemians 1905 features which Southern Hemisphere animal? A pair of them were gifted to the club during a tour in 1927. They were subsequently donated to the Prague Zoo. So for this tournament, while you all think about it, basically the Australian FA, which I think wasn't even like a FIFA member at the time, wanted to expand the appeal of football in the country. They reached out to a bunch of different clubs to come and play there and kind of put on exhibitions. None of them said yes, except for this one Czech club who had a different name and essentially changed their name to Bohemians 1905 because that was more appealing to an English-speaking audience. And then the tour went so well, they played like for 6 months, I think, in Australia, something like that. And then they decided to keep the name. And for their tour of that country, they were given an animal. And it's
Two
down on the
animals,
crest.
right? They give them two of them.
What is on the crest? Joe, we come to you.
Kangaroo, Mike.
Ryan,
Well, it's got to be, obviously, it's going to be a roo, it's going to be a koala, it's going to be a platypus.
the Bohemian Platies. It has a certain ring to it.
I do think the roo is the most bohemian of the animals. I'm saying kangaroo as well.
Graham?
Feels too obvious.
Does it too
Feels
obvious?
like, yeah, and would you give them two? I mean, one. It's going to be a handful enough. Who has accepted 2 kangaroos? That's over the top. I'm going to
Couple
say
jellies.
One player apparently accepted the animals and was in charge of them until they got back to Prague.
Wow.
I am going to say parakeets.
Point for Joe, point for Ryan. They were baby kangaroos. And in terms of it seeming too obvious, that might have been because I wasn't supposed to tell you that they were in Australia. But then in trying to stop for time, I told you that they were in Australia.
Yeah.
All right, Joe, I'm going to tell you now. Here is the one that I think you might have a chance of getting, but I'm really excited about
What
it.
other southern hemisphere animals are there outside Australia? Like emus?
Are penguins in the south or in the north?
Penguins.
Which one? The south. Okay, I was thinking
There you go.
penguins.
There's one. Good job.
Yeah.
There's some other ones. The Thing, from the movie The Thing. That's in the Southern Hemisphere. No one's put that on a badge yet. However,
point.
From the Addams Family.
there are some strange creatures that have appeared on badges. Antiguan Club Otto's Rangers was founded in 1967 with a crest that features, amongst other things, which Avenger? That's right.
Wow.
Which year?
Yes.
When were they founded?
Founded
Yeah.
in 1967 with a crest that features, amongst other things, which Avenger? Yes, Ryan.
Thor.
Oh, Ryan going first. All right, cool. I thought you were asking a follow-up question. Ryan wanted to go first. Ryan says Thor. Graham?
Remind me of the club again. Sorry, I was. Still
Otto's
going.
Rangers.
in the country they played.
Antigua.
Yeah. Oh,
But
wow,
not
okay.
Barbuda.
I will go for. There's no. Who am I kidding? I only know like 3 Avengers. I will go for Spider-Man. He's one of them.
Is he? Joe?
He's an Avenger, isn't he? Have I got that wrong?
Kinda. I really have no idea. I mean, I think I
thought
know
he
the
was an Avenger.
Avengers.
Joe, who would be the most ridiculous Avenger to put on a club crest?
The most ridiculous Hulk.
Hawkeye.
I mean, they're all ridiculous.
Hawkeye's the worst one, right?
Joe, what'd you say?
Hulk.
Joe gets the point. The Incredible Hulk is on the badge of Otto's Rangers. It's the Incredible Hulk, And an ogre? He seems to be winning the ball off of an ogre. I don't
Good for him,
understand
man.
what's happening, but
Good for
there
him.
you go.
Well done, Joe.
The Incredible
Thanks.
Hulk. I mean, with a little bit of coaching. But
No,
I
no,
like
none.
it. I like it. Okay. Here's one that I definitely did not know. Famed South African side, and it's your final one. I do have a tiebreaker if we need it. Famed South African side Kaiser Chiefs have an interesting explanation for why they have a Native American chief as their logo. The club's founder, Kaiser Motang, played for an NASL club who also had a chief for their logo. When he returned to South Africa in 1970, he named his new club after himself and the mascot of the team he played for in America. In what city did that team play?
Oh, man.
Ryan,
Wow, Ryan is ready to go. Ryan, you say?
Colorado.
Ryan says
City.
Colorado.
Well, did you not ask for city?
I did. Ryan might think Colorado's a city in Colorado.
Okay.
Colorado
We'll
City?
allow it.
Colorado Springs?
Not Commerce City, Colorado.
Okay.
Oh, that was going to be mine.
I guess I'll say Denver or Denver Metro.
All right.
I'm going to go.
Go ahead, Joe.
This is a total guess. I'm just picking a city. I'm going to pick Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay. Graham?
I'll go for Albuquerque.
For I am the mayor of Albuquerque.
Turkey Chiefs. Joe, what was the logic behind Atlanta?
I think it actually might be Atlanta. I can't remember for sure. I don't know. Part of my subconscious says it's Atlanta.
Who's the other, very famous team of Atlanta?
Yeah, I thought that might be
The
right because of that
Braves.
reason.
It is Atlanta. They were owned by
Oh,
Ted Turner.
nice.
There you go, Joe.
I
with
was
the
thinking,
point.
do you remember the
Atlanta
kit that
Chiefs.
had the tassels on it? That old Western style
Oh,
kit?
yeah, that is Colorado.
Oh, yeah.
Was that Colorado?
Yeah.
That's maybe where I've conflated it in my head, yeah.
The Colorado Mustangs, maybe something?
like that.
Cowboys? I don't know. All right, where are we at?
Who
point
had
wise?
the most points? I have 4.
I've got 2.
3.
Joe wins.
Wow,
Joe
it took
tried
us
to
Taylor
give it
cheating
away.
to help me to win.
Hey.
Let's go.
Well done,
Go
Joe.
me. Thanks,
Congrats.
guys. That means
Once
a
again,
lot.
Taylor.
Do you all want the tiebreaker? Because it's ridiculous.
Yeah, tiebreaker.
TP Mazembe is a Congolese club founded by Benedictine monks in 1939. They are nicknamed the Ravens, and so naturally have what reptile on their badge?
Lizard. Lizard. Actually, strike that gecko.
It's eating a soccer ball, if that helps.
It's a gecko.
Snake. It's got to be a snake.
Crocodile.
Ryan gets a point. It's crocodile. It's a crocodile eating a soccer ball. They're the Ravens. We all knew that, right?
Oh, absolutely.
That is the end of the
Absolutely.
quiz. Thank
Did
you
it
all
eat the
for tolerating
raven
it.
before it started on the soccer ball?
That's what happened. That
Wow.
was the problem.
There's a little feather if you look closely enough.
There was a raven on top of the ball, a la Spurs, but now there's a crocodile with a ball in its mouth and feathers
Taylor,
everywhere. I guess
Taylor,
we're
TP
that.
Mazembe is a former club of Phoenix Rising's best player of all time. I knew the name sounded familiar. I had to look it up. Solomon Asante. Look at
Didier
that.
Drogba.
Didier Drogba played for them, right? Yeah.
Didier Drogba is the best player to ever play for Phoenix Rising. He is not Phoenix
I
Rising's
see,
best
I
player.
see.
I thought you meant Rios Novo.
Oh, also an icon. Don't get me wrong.
Very good.
Good
All
quiz,
right.
Taylor. Lots of
All
fun.
right.
Taylor, congratulations once again. That was a wonderful quiz, listener. I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. That is the Weekender. You enjoy yourselves your weekend. Hey, look closely at that feed. You might see a listener questions episode crop up there this weekend as well. In fact, pretty sure you will. But for now, Taylor Rocco, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you all very much indeed, and I apologize for the NAC Breda question and all of the permutations therein.
No, don't apologise. I got it right. Joe Lowry, thank you very much.
Thanks, Brian.
And Graham Ruthven, pleasure as always, sir.
Thank you, Ryan Bailey.
Listener, thank you very much once again. You have yourselves a wonderful weekend. We'll be back on that feed very shortly. But for now, thanks.